you should listen to them. And that's the way it is for Tuesday, August 29th, 2017. This is Walter Cronkite saying bleep you and good night.
And welcome back to Kelly's Bar on Mahoning Avenue, Youngstown, Ohio. This is Yards After Contact. And with me now, another radio personality from the area, Thorne, color guy for 570 WKBN. Welcome to the program here, Todd.
Thank you, Garrett. Better looking face than the last guy? We all right?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, good. Still for the radio, though. Still good for the radio,
No,
right?
you passed that test.
All right, good.
Ron's
Thank
got
goodness.
that. He's got that nailed down. But if you ever have any run a rat trap, just take a picture.
Take a
of Ron.
picture of Rod and get it down there quick.
Yeah, there you go. You're all set to go.
Classic.
How's high school football for you going so far this year?
Been a great year. You know, we've seen some blowouts. We've seen some good games. We've seen some surprises. I mean, it's like every year. I mean, you know, you go in looking for the usual suspects, and then all of a sudden some things change. And then, you know, unfortunately, you know, Ursuline has a tough year. Mooney's having an okay year. They're back in the computer rankings and stuff like that, state rankings. And then you look right down, you know, the 224 in the southern part where you got, you know, Poland, Canfield, South Range, and then we got
Boardman's still hanging around.
Boardman's still around. Boardman's got athletes, man. They're just having a tough time. They got some athletes. And then Girard, I mean, for crying out loud, look at them throwing the ball all over the place. So it's the same, you know, some of the same teams recycling.
Let's start there. Have you had Girard this year at all?
Yes, we have. Yes,
What
we have.
are your thoughts? Is Wade, how good is Wade, and how?
I think
and are they
Wade's-
good enough to do something in the postseason if they make it? At
I
10
think
or 0?
I think Wade is our best in our area. Just
Best
from
what?
our
Quarterback?
best quarterback,
Best player?
best quarterback in our
Okay.
area. Yeah, and you know, best player. I loved AJ Irusi. I thought he was probably our
Okay.
best football player.
Okay.
But you know, unfortunately, with his injury and stuff, it's
It's
not
reflected.
there. You know, and then, I mean,
Sure,
you
that's
got
lost the last of the games.
absolutely.
But
And then,
against
you know,
good teams, though.
Exactly, like the Coombs kid down at South Range. I mean, he's good, but I mean, good. I mean, the kid's electric, but Wade handles his team well. He's only a junior. He reminds me, just watching him, of Nick Cochran. So I mean, it's
That's the
just
biggest compliment you can
exactly.
get.
It's one of those kids. It's an athlete. He can run when he has to. He sees the ball, the field extremely well. He hits the small routes, the short routes, shallow routes, intermittent routes, the deep
He's got a
ball when
great
he has
receiver
to.
with him.
Phenomenal receiver with him, and just. You know, their offensive line and defensive line, they got a sophomore over there, and I can't think of his first name, but the Gump kid, his father's an old Fitch grad from 1986, 87, 88, somewhere in that area. But this kid's, you know, the father's 6'7", this kid's every bit of 6'5", 6'6". He's probably one of our best, you know, linemen now stepping in place, following, you know, those leads of AJ Irusi. What's the kid, the Boardman center, the Toth kid. So, I mean, we got some big, good linemen. I mean, all over the place. And then
You had Boardman Campbell. What's wrong with Boardman? I mean,
Mistakes.
Full disclosure, I can do every week.
Mistakes.
I'm a Boardman fan. My daughter goes there. I root for Boardman, and I like Boardman.
my cousin's Michael O'Hara. You know, that's
And
my
I like
cousin.
Mike.
So I like him. I
like
grew up
his-
with Ted Molesky, Mike Molesky's
Yeah.
there. You know, they got players that are
Yeah.
West Side people, and you know, we'll talk about the city as we go, I'm
Sure.
sure. But you know, we're talking about guys that we've known growing up, and their kids are good. They're good ball players.
Yeah.
You can't make mistakes in the red zone. You
They make a lot
cannot
of
make.
them.
Yeah, unfortunately
Last
they
two
do, man.
games.
You know, what was it? 3 fumbles and an interception. The interception, would Michael like it back? Heck yeah, he'd like that back 10 times. I mean, you know, he knows what he did wrong, and he knows how to adjust that. And from a quarterback standpoint, they do well. From a line standpoint, they do well.
Are they trying to do too much, or are they not doing enough?
I think they're trying to do. I think they're trying to do too much. I mean, if
You think
could
Michael's
thin that
doing
down-
enough at quarterback
Yeah, I think he is. I think what they need to do, though, is I think they need to run the ball more.
with him?
You know, with either him and
Jennings?
Jennings. I mean,
They miss Iarace going down.
absolutely.
Without
I race
question,
it.
100%.
I'm with
I'm
you
not
there.
saying it's wins and losses difference, but it's certainly
It is wins or
big
losses
plays
different. I can say
difference
that,
on
right?
Both sides
It's-
of the ball.
it's wins or losses
I
difference.
agree
I
with
do
you.
believe that.
I'm
I
with
believe
you.
that.
That could be a Mooney victory.
Exactly. Actually,
And even
exactly.
Steubenville, they're beating him before he went out.
And you know, I'm watching things. I know we're jumping around, but you know, like I'm watching the Mooney game and Mooney against Hoban. We get up there, and I'm watching Jason Santisi making 10, 12, 14 tackles. I'm watching the next game. He's making another 8, 9, 10 tackles, and I'm going, Mooney's got to get something fixed here on the defensive line. And, you know, when your safeties are making all your tackles, it's not a good thing. Good for Jason Santisi because he's doing really well, but I
They got
watched
Vinny
them.
Gentile up front.
Exactly.
Who makes plays.
And what happened was, when it came to the Boardman game, they made plays. You know, the defensive line stepped up and it wasn't all the defensive
The
backs making
fumble play
tackles.
that Gentile took in for touchdown. Describe that. I didn't see it. Still haven't seen it.
It was a bad handoff. It was a bad handoff, if I'm not mistaken, on the one.
Or was it a snap? Was that a snap?
No, I thought, and you know what, it could have been. I can't recall whether it was. I thought it was an exchange issue,
Okay.
and he just picked it up, ran it right in. And I mean, that's a swing right there.
That was a killer.
The sad part was the one that snapped off of his leg, off of Michael Orr's leg,
That's
hit him right in the
right.
shin.
That's
the one hit him in the shin, but I don't believe they scored on that
okay.
one. So, but yeah, just things that happen that shouldn't happen in high school football. They're going to happen early in the year, but as you go and as you grow with a center that's a senior and
How did they give
a
up a
junior
70-yard
quarterback.
touchdown pass to? Well, Mooney don't do that too
No,
often.
no, they did. They just went over top, and you know what they did? They did exactly what he does. They bait. Safety's coming up.
They know they
they're
got
coming
you
up. They're
suckered.
coming
When they
up.
throw it, they know it's gonna work.
And it's a boom, hook, line, and sinker.
So, Bourne Canfield, that was
Bourne
over early too. I mean, really?
It was over early, but I'll tell you, it wasn't over early as far as the score because there was still some opportunities there. But I'll tell you what, the guy that I'm impressed with, and I know that the quarterback gets a ton of credit, and their defensive line or our defensive backs and a couple other guys can credit their running backs, but Anthony Delicio
the nose guard or
is
tackle?
the key to that program
Really?
right this
Sophomore?
minute. Sophomore. He's the key in
Really?
my eyes. I love the Crawford brothers, the wrestlers,
Oh.
and Anthony's a wrestler also. But these
Yeah, he's a
kids,
great wrestler.
what he did in that Boardman game that I thought was phenomenal. And I told his father, Nick's a great friend of mine. I said, Nick, your son just took on one of the biggest lines in the area. One of the biggest lines, not the biggest, but one of the biggest lines. But
Underachieving line.
What he did was he took on 2 and 3 guys every single play. So now all of a sudden you hear their linebackers and then number 50, the opposite defense, they're making tackles all game because he did his job. That shows up as a poor grade in the book, but when the staff gets down and looks at the film, they're like,
they
he may only
appreciate
grade out at 60 or 50 or 80 or whatever.
This kid's
But it's because he
sophomore.
stood him up. You know that position. You
Yeah,
did.
without question.
When you got your ass kicked, because I can say that when you got your ass kicked,
Didn't happen very often.
your team did well though because you were standing up to 3 or 4 guys, or I'm sorry, 2 or 3 guys, 3 or 4,
Well,
2 or
we're-
3 guys.
We were 1-9, Todd.
Hey.
And guess who we beat?
Oh no,
Yes, it
that
would
hurts. That hurts. You beat the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, twice. Junior and senior year.
Man, good for you. Good for you.
That's-
you got the
that's-
back to back.
that's an accomplishment.
That is. Yeah, it is.
Beat Cheney
Absolutely.
back-to-back years.
I remember
In the
10
golden-
win- I
in
remember
sort of
10
the
wins in
golden
4
days.
years, yeah.
Sort of the golden days. Those were
The great days, man.
you know,
Those were awesome days.
early '80s. Cheney was still. They were still going strong.
Man, being a ball boy, being at those games, going to South and Rain and all those places.
And you don't want Cheney to have a football team now, do you? It's going to be a shell of
Boy,
what.
you put me on the spot. No,
No, I mean,
my
what
thing
is
is
your
no. It's
feeling?
not. It's not what it was.
Is it going to be
Going
Cheney
forward, no.
Cowboys?
That's gonna be the
Can they
name.
change the name?
That's gonna be the name.
It
No,
shouldn't
that's
be.
gonna be the name.
It shouldn't.
And
Because
I agree. with you.
You're not
Here's
gonna-
my thing. When you walk
You're not
into
going to
that
be
school,
competitive no matter how you slice it. There's just not enough talent in this city.
until they drop to Division 5 or 6, which won't happen because they have too many people, they won't be competitive right away. There's no way. There's no way. And I don't know how. I love Rick. Rick Shepis is one of my great friends. He's doing a great job. And the thing that he's doing is he's selling the kids on the program.
Yeah.
Now they got some good things going at East right this minute. Yeah, East only has one win.
Sure.
But have you seen the discipline that they have on Friday
Sure, I
nights?
understand.
Have you seen the excitement they have?
But can you make 2 teams out of one bad team already?
See, and I
Not
personally,
bad,
I
but-
personally don't think so. I will support because he's a great friend of mine. It's not the Cheney of the past. We know that. You know, the West Siders know that. The pictures in the Hall of Fame and the Wall of Fame that are up there are
gonna
from the
stay there?
past. Oh, everything's staying there. Nothing's being removed. The colors are going to stay. Everything's going to stay the same.
It's not your dad's Cheney Cowboys.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's going to be half the city's Cheney Cowboys, not just the West Side.
So your game is what this week now?
We have Niles at Canfield.
And you
and
did
we've
have
seen Niles
Struthers
twice.
and-
Yep.
You did have Struthers and Campbell, but because of the Indians, that sort of got
That,
eliminated.
yeah, got eliminated. They
You
moved
took
some
that
things.
game.
We're on that game. You know,
Will that be over before it starts?
nothing against the kids on either team, but I mean, we could see a running clock
We
start of the second half.
start of the second half.
You know, start of the
I was
second.
at the Niles Campbell game last year, and it was a debacle.
and I feel bad because I think Brian and those guys do a nice job. Robbie Savin's one hell of a running back.
You got to do it on the scoreboard.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
what.
Absolutely. With a big offensive line too. I mean, their offensive line's good size.
Well, who's impressed you so far? What have you seen in this area?
The one that impressed me going into everything was Gerard reopened the season. Gerard right off the bat. I mean, threw the ball, did everything well. And all these teams defensively, obviously, if they're not playing defense, they're not doing well. But I think they're good. Your undefeated teams are all good. I get that. I think South Range is really good. I picked them in our preseason show. I picked them to win a state title. I mean, I like them. I like them. I just think the speed that the Coombs kid has is that huge in our area. He's so fast, it's unbelievable. And they got other
He's
people.
not even there. He's their third option.
That's right.
Right?
But look at the speed on that kid. So he's your third option. It's pretty nice, isn't it?
Wow.
So
Well, we have South Range coming up after you here, so
Yep,
we're looking
yep.
forward to talking
Absolutely.
to Coach Yeagley and see what he's got going with Sharon on the line.
Yeah.
Now, if that's a
How about
big,
that?
if they beat Sharon, look
that's
out,
huge
folks.
in their hat. That's huge feather
That's
in their
as
hat.
athletic,
and
fast.
then you'll come back and say, hey, Todd, maybe you were right.
Well, hey, I thought I didn't have him for state champion, but obviously that's
It's
a
going
great
to go
program.
a long way. Just a great program that's been there, and they're learning, and they've been taking steps all the time. Every year they're taking steps somehow in their program.
What are some of the teams you covered this year?
Campbell, they're great. I didn't get to see Poland yet. We have them, obviously. We had them last week.
Against-
So,
oh, you-
yeah, we have the Campbell Poland game. So,
Okay.
that's a huge game. Who else? I think Mooney's all right.
Do you think Mooney could
All
run
gotta
out?
do is
They
get
got to
in.
run the table.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not only they got to run the table. They're sitting pretty good now. They got 4 games left. I think if they win 2 or 3, they're all right. Just getting in, and once you get in with a team like Mooney, we've seen it before. We've seen it with Columbus DeSales the one year. We've seen it with Walsh Jesuit. Walsh Jesuit was the funniest one ever. What were they? They were 2-7 and got in, and 3-8, or 3-7 and 2-8 got in. So I mean, 2-8 team got in the playoffs. It's because you got 2 good wins and a lot of good players. So maybe it was the 8 spot, but they made a run. So that was back in what, 2005, 2006, or was it? Because it was right when I got into this, so it had to be somewhere earlier than that. 3-7 they were.
Wow. It's hard to picture now. I know Mooney and Urson, they made a living off 4 and 5 or 4 and 6 teams.
Jump in, man. You
Once you
just
get in, you
jump
gotta
in.
get in.
You got to get in and then go. And
Are
once you go,
Are you surprised at Urson's season? Or is the schedule just ridiculous?
I think the schedule's ridiculous. I think it really hit them in the face. I mean, they're still a decent football team. They got good players. It's just every week you got to play a monster week in, week out. And I hate to say not locally, but like Akron Hoban, good again. Hoban's good.
Well,
they got
play
players.
big teams, though.
They got
They
players.
know how to get players, obviously. Coach Tim Terrell.
Yeah, but
Sound Urson
what
product.
bothered me is I'm going in
YSU
looking to see,
product.
I'm going to look for Danny Clark's brother, the tight end, and next thing you know,
They moved to
he's at
Kentucky.
Cincinnati Moeller.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he's playing at Cincinnati Moeller.
I thought he was in Kentucky.
He is. They're living in Covington, Kentucky, but he plays for Cincinnati Moeller. So, but yeah, and that kid's you could tell. You could tell.
You can credit the Clark family for getting the Fitch quarterback over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ed Hoban. So they're a freshman starting at
Freshman,
Hoban.
that's good. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
That's pretty good.
So, but a lot of good teams in the area, though, Garrett. It's upsetting to see some of them not doing so well, but you got teams that are still fighting and playing. I mean, McDonald, there was a surprise for us. I couldn't believe they lost that game to Columbiana. They're coming back. They're doing really well. McDonald's one of those teams that we've talked about before. They're smoke and mirrors. All they do is get that gap and have that little space. And if they have the space, they got the.
They
They
got
don't
the
have the huge
rushers.
power running back. They got running backs.
they got-
the Selly kid and the
They got 2 kids in the top rushers
Cintron,
in
the
the area.
Cintron kid. Yeah, absolutely. And you know why? They get through holes. It's that simple. They get
And they're
through
4
holes.
and
They're
1.
not
They're
big.
struggling in the computer points and that.
And that's always going to happen. That right there is an indictment of the schedule that it just happens. I mean, remember the year they were 10-0 and they almost didn't get in. I mean, they were only like what was it, one?
Like a Gerard.
Exactly. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you're in this. You need one big game, and you don't have one because of your schedule. And then you play up, and next thing you know, that team doesn't do well for you. You get no points on them. So
Springfield
that's all part
and
of
Western Reserve.
I think that's a great game.
And
Shouldn't that be on the radio?
I think that should be a radio.
Maybe on TV.
I think
something.
it should be 570.
That's right.
Your
It's a
game will be over
huge
at
game.
halftime and people
It's a
will be
huge game, and
with,
gosh
those two
almighty,
I give Western Reserve the edge. Do you?
Oh yeah, definitely give Western Reserve the edge.
Even at the Springfield.
Even
How's
at
young
Springfield,
Brungardt kid? You know much about him?
No, we haven't seen him. We haven't
Okay,
seen him in
me
2
neither.
years.
I haven't
You know,
seen him.
we everything that we've seen. Last time we saw Mark, he was still at Poland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. It just didn't happen because of scheduling. But I hear nothing but great things.
Kennedy, anything? What are you hearing?
I hear they're down a little bit. I mean, but at the same point in
Can
time,
they make a
they're-
run? Can they make a run?
absolutely they can make a run. Why can't they?
Yeah.
You know, what was it? Not Harvest Prep. Who was the team they played out of Columbus last year? That was. I think it actually was Harvest Prep. They had the running back that had over 4,000 yards.
Yeah.
You know, that was like butter. It was 57-7 or whatever it was, and they only gave up that touchdown at the end or whatever it was. You know, I can't remember the exact number, but they gave up that touchdown at the end to a team who was pounded. They had an 80-0 win on their schedule, and JFK walked through them. So can they? Absolutely. You get in Division 7, you could roll and put things together and just get kids believing. So they got good young kids and a good program.
So you keep an eye out for teams like Girard and can Western Reserve do anything? Can they make noise?
Sure, if everyone's healthy.
You think they can
Gotta
make
be
a run?
healthy.
Make a run.
Get-
A Kennedy run.
Absolutely. Why not? Why not? I'm
South
looking,
Range
I'm
can
looking
make a
forward to
run?
doing.
Yes.
South Range can they make a run?
Yes.
Didn't we just talk about that?
All the way. I'm just kind of.
I'm still
reaffirming
sticking
everything.
with them. I'm still sticking with them. Absolutely,
Canfield
love them.
make a run.
Canfield can make a run, but they're
Or
in a
Poland.
tough
Who do you
Division
pick
3,
there?
4.
Or
There's
before you got Poland, you got Struthers is out. You got
Right, but you have-
who else we got? Mooney's in there. He'll
right.
end up.
But what do we have there?
Gerard,
We have Steubenville.
Steubenville.
You know, that's where I feel bad. They can make a run, but they can make a run till Steubenville because I think I've seen them on television. They're good.
I think Poland's going to surprise people.
I hope so. Their line, I heard. See, I haven't seen them yet. We'll see them last game of the year, but I'd really like to see
And
them
Canfield.
beforehand.
Yes,
Yeah.
no. Good.
Canfield can, but once again, Division 3.
11 round week 11, week 12, week 13.
I'd say they get the week 12, week 13 easily. Week 12, I'd say
They
for
play
sure.
for regional.
Yeah, why not? Get there, and I mean, even hey, you
D1
got kids
is
playing
Fitch.
outside their heads
Fitch
there.
isn't going to make it.
No.
Probably not. D2, Boardman, probably not.
But you know,
They,
they'd have to turn it around.
they
but
need
look
a
at the
couple
schedule.
wins.
Yeah, you got to look at their
They'll
schedule.
beat
also.
Harding,
Yeah.
but that's going to get them hardly anything. They'll beat Urson, I think, which will probably won't get them much.
Man,
And,
yeah, you're right. You're
you know,
right.
they don't have much.
And East is in
to
Division
count
2.
on.
They're not going
You
to.
know, they
Obviously,
got
they're not
much
going to
to
be there.
count on. So, switching gears real quick, you got your YSU attire on. You're pretty proud
Absolutely,
of the
absolutely.
Penguins, what they're
Always
doing?
love the Penguins. Love what they're doing, football wise, and I got a little baseball down there because
There you go.
Danny Berlini's such a great friend and a great guy. I coached against him when he played at Poland. He's been a great kid, and boy, he's got that program going in another direction. So they got that program going in the right direction. They got basketball now supposedly headed in the right direction. Football, we've seen it already. Proofs in the pudding, and it's back. I mean, this past weekend was just unbelievable for me to watch the game online because I didn't have access to go to the game, and I'm watching as it's going, wow. 7 points to this team, and then they had 2 drives that ended at the 1 yard line, or one that ended at the 1 yard line, one ended at missed field goal at the end of the half. So, they were in pretty good shape. So love everything going on at YSU right now. A lot of good things going on. Next year, for media's sake, it's going to be unbelievable down there with the new media center and the classrooms. They're going to be across the way on the visitor side.
Really?
Yeah, it's huge center that's going up. It's really nice.
Behind the
man.
stands?
It's going to be part of the stands, incorporated. It's going to be a complete press box. So all the media that we always have to go up and up will all be on the other side of the field at a nice level where we can watch the games and do things without having to have the binoculars and everything.
What's going to happen in the press box over there? Just all loads?
It's going to be all loges, and I think just timing and stuff like that
Is this
might
a
be
Jim
over there.
Tressel thing?
I
is
can't
this
remember
in the
the
works?
family that came in, but the family came in and gave some
recent?
pretty big money within the last year. So it's a JT thing, absolutely. And I think there's just more and more stuff to come down there.
Remember, the original drawings, weren't there supposed to be 4 sides of that stadium?
There
back
were.
in
Remember
the
with
day?
they had that big old path that walked around and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, they're still adding to it. But I think it's going to stay the look that it is.
No more seats? Just
Yeah,
the
I don't
press-
think any more seats. I don't
They're
think they
gonna
can
have
handle
a
any more seats because there
Press
was.
box that low?
Yeah, it's going to be a lower level. It's still going to be up and raised, but it's going to be on the visitor side. So,
Wow.
but if you think about it, they do all the television games
Yeah.
from that side and the tarps. And, it's perfect height. They love it over there, and
You'll look
we'd
at
like
the
to be
big
down a little
crowd,
bit.
You'll be looking at the crowd.
And I'll tell you what, the one thing that I have to say about last year's run with JFK, because I know we got to wrap up, is the JFK game at Ohio Stadium was very disappointing for me because we were so high up and so far away from the field. It was so
True.
tough to see it, and when you're not prepared for that, and we had the binoculars and stuff, but you don't use that stuff in a high school stadium, especially when you're in a Division 7 school that's playing in a Division 4 stadium, and then you go to that thing. I mean, it's beautiful.
But now we got Dan Reardon in
Oh,
Camp McKinley's
yeah, we got
beautiful stadium.
And it's perfect. You go see Dan, and that's
And
not.
they're
I
6-0.
should have worn
By
my
the way,
shirt, man.
McKinley's 6-0.
Absolutely, they are.
With
They're
the victory over Harding early in the year.
Yeah, they're 6-0. Who else? Ed's is 6-0. Nash is 6-0, and
all the big boys are
everyone.
playing
All the big dogs are
Big
up there
football.
this year.
Mentor's
So.
not quite, but they're up there. I mean,
No,
they're-
who's in Cincinnati?
they're
Elder,
all-
St. Xavier,
they're
one
all-
of them. They're all
loaded
back up.
down there. Elder, Moeller. I mean, there's football. I mean, we don't have football like that up here.
But I see Coldwater has 2 losses over there in the MAC. What's going on there?
Who's it? Who does?
Coldwater.
Coldwater. Wow.
They got 2 losses. They're 4-2.
Really?
But you know what happened. They'll just come back in and make a little run to the
that's
state
what you get in
championship and not worry
it's all
about it.
over again.
So
So, what you doing this weekend then?
this weekend after that, nothing. I'll be going home seeing my my grandbaby. Had a grandson last Thursday, so get to go hold him and hang out with him. His name's Tough Levi Julian Thorne. So
Tough.
yeah, it's
T-U-F?
Tough, T-U-F-F. I went with one extra F. My daughter and I were watching the
Not
Ohio
Tough
State
Borland.
game that weekend, and she liked Tough Borland and thought it was a great name, so we went with
you threw an extra
yeah,
F
tough.
on
So
there.
we threw an extra F on there because we wanted to be a little bit tougher. So anyway, yeah, tough Levi Julian Thorne.
That's
and,
great.
Yeah, my daughter Tori, hats off. She did a great job through this thing, and didn't even know it was happening. So it was really, really cool stuff. So.
You and Ryan Williams separated at birth? No?
We talked about this last year, and mine's
He's
a little bit. Mine's a little
he's
tighter.
more
He
down
likes
at
that.
Louisiana, yeah.
That Bayou thing.
Yeah, he's down.
That
He's-
Ed Ogeron thing. So
Oh, don't mention him losing to Troy. That can't be
yeah,
very
it happens, man. River City Kitties didn't do too good last
good.
week.
Wow.
So,
I mean,
but,
we worry about the Buckeyes losing, but losing to Troy. Are they still subdivision team? I don't know. I don't know.
No, I think they're a Division One team now,
Look at all
but
the
still.
teams. I was, all those teams. Georgia Southern, all those teams we played. Penguins played back in the day. Even Idaho teams, and we played them all. Most of them are Division One now. We're not.
They're,
We should be cleaning up.
Our thing is we can't handle it right now. You feel bad. They said 17,000. Someone said there's actually 12 in the stands. I
had to
remember
like
that
the crowd,
Alcorn
though.
State. I remember the Alcorn State game, and I know you do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there was 21, 22,000.
There was nobody on the other side either.
Exactly. It was packed.
all
All filled in. All those people up in the stands. I mean, that was loaded. Or no, that was what 31,000 was their largest crowd. I think it was. It was nuts, man. But it is what it is. And I'll come back on and we'll talk college football someday because we got so many great coaches around that we need to talk about and give them props.
How's working with Jim Evans?
Jim's a blast. I mean, every time he comes up with one of his, I call him Evanisms. I mean, he comes up with something every game. He's a current event freak. So something goes on this week, he's going to say this or that. And I'll never forget the Twinsburg game. Ange Barbero took off for that 80-yard run, and all you heard Jim Evans say was, "Iceberg, dead ahead." So it was Jim. I mean,
He has those lines.
The Wake, what was it? One of the kids from Boardman against Fitch at Boardman. They were going for a touchdown, and it was pouring. There was so much water in the field. You couldn't see your ankles of the players. He's yelling, "No wake zone. No wake zone." So, I mean, it's Jim. He's a blast to work with. Bobby Gavalier does a great job down on the sideline. He does a good job attacking and getting the right people so we can have them on and talk. So,
And I love iHeartRadio because I get to tune in no matter where
that's
I'm at.
it, man. Hey,
And we communicate on game days.
Oh, it's great. There's nothing better than looking, and I'm looking, and Gary gives me a score. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, because like Ronnie Price is back giving us scores.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10,
Sometimes he has a
doesn't
late
have-
score.
Yeah,
and
he has a late score, and you're giving me what's going on.
I'm saying he's giving that was 2 touchdowns ago.
That's it.
Even the Fitch game. I was thinking,
Yeah.
I got I got to text him, I guess, as well. Put him in my list.
So that's it. It's a great list, though, man. It's fun to listen. That it's great in your list, and we won't mention people, but there's some people on the list that maybe have a player played,
Yeah,
and they're
it's-
like, "Son of a gun, this or that," and we're like in the middle. We just want the score.
So, yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
We just
Come on,
want
and
the
he's,
score.
yeah, exactly.
That's it.
But it's fun. It's just a great. This series, it's great for supporting football in so many ways.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
talent level might not be what it maybe was at one point, but it's still fun on Fridays.
I talk to Sean McEwen all the time. He tells me, he goes, "It's nowhere near the same down here in Florida." He's in Boca Raton, one of the highest, dollar amount places, highest populated, rich person. He says it's football and it's good football, but nobody cares. I mean, the fans, they show up because their kids playing, but the rest of the school, they don't even show. None of them show up unless their kid's playing, a parent or a brother or sister. He said there's no fans in the stands. Whereas here, as well as I do, you see, Jimmy Joe or Bob from 100 years ago that were going to every game. Guess what? They're still going. You go to a Struthers game, you're going to see the same faces of the same people that were there 70 years ago that still come around. So
Is your game at Niles this week?
our game's back over at Campfield.
'Cause that's where it was last year. The same two teams.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because
went to that
as a
game.
matter of fact, I was told it was at Niles.
Sir Benovich
or
was,
at
was a
Campfield.
senior
Oh yeah,
last year, and
Yeah. But
they
I
were
told-
blown
I
out
would-
at halftime.
I was told it was at Campfield, but either way,
It could be.
either way, yeah.
What you can do is wrap up at halftime and maybe then go to South Range and cover the
Dude,
second,
that's
second
right,
half
and
of
run
the game. Like,
second half of that one.
you
You're
guys
right.
get there in time?
We could, we could, absolutely.
If it's 42-0 at half,
Yeah, over to
you
well,
get down,
well, we
go
could
load
get
up
the
the
South
car?
we could get the South
Yeah,
Range
you
in a
get
hurry,
down
but we
there.
can't get to Springfield for the other one. So, but it doesn't matter, man. You go to South Range, you go see that place. Have you been there?
is it
The new place?
No.
Oh my goodness,
I've seen it though on the from the road, but I haven't been there for a game.
absolutely gorgeous. We went by after a game was over and pulled in.
Yeah.
We'll let Coach talk about it next, but
It's
let me
one of
tell
my
you
games
something.
I'm thinking about this
Oh,
week. So
beautiful
don't
place. The lighting is just all new and freaky and
Great.
different and
LED.
yeah, it's all neat.
I'm
So,
trying to get Boardman to maybe do some of that with their LED. Beautiful stadium there as well.
That's it. Oh,
How's the
no.
press? What's the best press box in the area?
Boardman,
By
Boardman.
far,
Boardman by far,
not counting one
but
or
not
two games.
not food wise.
Not food wise.
Food wise, it's Akron St. V's. I think the pizza they serve down there is
locally,
phenomenal.
locally,
yeah,
locally,
locally,
Lowville, you've been there?
been there,
they
but
got good
you know they
food
don't.
down.
You know, it's the sausage sandwich at Howland.
That's what Ronnie
you
Potesta
can't
tells
beat
me.
it, man.
Really?
The sausage sandwich at Howland's
Is it
the
the
best.
Russos or something
Yeah.
different?
I have no idea.
Great.
All I know is it's phenomenal.
Wow. It's been phenomenal having you on the show with us.
Thanks, Gary. You know
Appreciate
it.
it, as always, and look forward to maybe doing this again in the future. At
Hey,
some
let's
point.
do it with another sport or another colleges or something. It's
There
a
we go.
blast. So
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Gary.
That's Todd Thorne, WKBN 570 Radio. He's the color guy with Jim Evans. You can catch their action on iHeartRadio on Friday night. Just tune in on the dial, punch in 570, and the next thing you know, you'll be hearing Todd talk about somebody texting in from Florida, Texas,
Hey,
California.
Australia.
You're
That's our
always-
best so far.
we always-
Australia.
We always
Yes,
know we got
do.
an audience when
That's right.
Texan Todd. So we'll be back with more Yards After Contact from Kelly's Bar in Youngstown, Ohio.
Football season is in full swing in the Mahoning Valley, so come on down to Kelly's Bar at 1597 Mahoning Avenue in Youngstown, your best spot to catch all the gridiron action. On Tuesdays, 40-cent regular and boneless wings. Make Kelly's your Friday night stop after all the high school games. On Saturday, Kelly's Smoker Saturdays, chicken, beef, and ribs, plus some great college football. On Sundays, it's your NFL Sunday ticket. 10 large flat screen TVs to enjoy your favorite NFL team. And don't forget, the best high school football webcast around. Yards After Contact with Gary Houster and Ryan Kelly, every Tuesday at 7. Kelly's Bar, 1597 Mahoning Avenue in Youngstown. Come for the food, stay for the fun.
And welcome back to Yards After Contact from Kelly's Bar in Youngstown, Ohio. With me now is one of the hottest teams in the area, one of the best teams in the area, from Division 5 South Range Raiders. Introduce yourselves, guys, here. Matt
Matt Brooks, offense and defensive lineman.
and
And Coach Yeagley from just the head coach, been there for a long time.
How many years, Coach? I mean,
22. It's been a long
22.
time, and I'm blessed every year. I'm happy that they keep on bringing me back.
6-0. Congratulations on your hot start.
Thank you.
Let me ask you first, what's the secret so far? If you could kind of put a thumb
Just
down on it.
Just playing South Range football, coming ready every week, not taking anyone lightly, and just playing our game, playing physical, and just giving it to everyone we play.
Now, have you been a South Range kid your whole life?
Well, I moved here in 5th grade from Washington Fitch,
Okay.
and I love it. I've never looked back. This is I'm blessed with where I'm at. Got a great team, great teammates, and I love it.
How exciting is it to be in this run that you're in right now? 6-0. You got a great game this coming weekend. What's it
Yeah.
feel like from your perspective?
Oh, it's so exciting. I love it. I don't want this moment to end. I'm looking at maybe some of the best times of my life right now, and I don't want to go back. I just want to look forward. Every day is a new day. I want to get better every single day, and I'm loving it.
Talk about the pride you have blocking for these talented, skilled people that you have at your team.
I love blocking for these guys. I mean, we got playmakers back there. We
Give
got
us a
Remish.
shout out to who?
Yeah, Remish, running back. He's a
Peyton.
beast. Yeah, Peyton Remish, he's a beast. We got Neil Bazak, who I think is the best quarterback in the area. He's a great playmaker.
Both seniors?
Yeah. And then we got Matthias Combs, who's a senior.
A lot of
Fast as
speed.
can be. Yeah, he's real fast, and just blocking for them makes my job easier. And they're great playmakers, and that's how we win. I mean, they're great guys.
Can you describe your offense from your point of view?
Ground and pound, physical. We're gonna come at you first snap. We're not gonna turn back. That's what we pride ourselves on up front. Physicalness. We want to be the most physical team on the field and leave no doubt.
Now, are you a team that could pass if you need to, or do you do it just regularly in your
We
offense?
could pass, we can run, we can do it all. I mean, that's what we put our bread and butter on. We could run, we could throw, we could do whatever the defense has given us and capitalize on that.
Now, from your perspective, what's it like to face a Sharon team? Do you know much about them, other than film and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we used to play them in basketball in middle school.
So you know the
we
talented athletes that
Yeah,
they-
we know the athletes. We know some of the kids from that team, and we're just ready for the opportunity. I mean, we're excited we get to play, and we want to put our mark on them and bride in the South Range brand from PA, and we want to make a statement this Friday night that we can hang with the big dudes from PA.
So your mental approach is you're not, and I don't want to say afraid. I know you're not afraid as a
Yeah.
football player, but they don't intimidate you as an athletic team with a lot of speed and
Yeah.
maybe something you haven't seen or
Yeah.
might not see the rest of the year after this week.
To me, not really. I mean, we're all ready to go. I mean, if there's a ball and there's another team across us, let's play. I don't care who it is. We're going to be ready to go, and we're coming at you for 48 minutes.
What's the goal from your perspective?
Win every game, and we want to make the playoffs and go as far as we can. And we all want to go to states. I mean, we just got to work every week and keep getting better every day.
Do you just talk about that much before I get to coach?
Not really. I mean, we just kind of
Week at a time, huh?
Yeah, every week says new week. We just got to keep playing, and every team we play is a great opponent. So we just got to be ready to go every week.
What do you think of your head coach? He's right here.
He's a great guy. Probably the best coach in the area. I mean, you don't find head coaches around here that are like Coach Ig. He's just a nice, kind-hearted guy, and I mean, he pushes us, but he's a great guy, and he gets us ready every Friday night.
You like his X's and O's he brings to the table every week?
I love it. He's great at it. He knows what he's doing, and I mean, you don't be a head coach for 22 years if you don't know what you're doing. And I mean, he showed it. He's built the South Range brand up, and it's not going back down.
How do you like your new stadium, by the way?
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful. It gets us jacked up to play every Friday night there. It's beautiful. One of the nicest areas.
Are there locker rooms right there, or I don't know that part of it?
Well, our lifting and like weight room is at.
There's a building there.
Yeah, it's
okay, I've seen
across the street, but our locker room is actually the bus barn for game days.
Okay, yeah,
For
right.
right now.
Yeah.
Right there. And the visitors as well, then, or
Yeah, they have a trailer.
okay, but you guys aren't done there, right?
No.
There's more to come.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch to you, Coach Jiggly.
Okay.
What do you like most about your football team?
You know
Heading
what?
into week 7, 6-0.
Oh my goodness, they. I love it that they do whatever we ask. I mean, I got a great coaching staff. There's a bunch of teams amongst teams. My coaching staff is phenomenal. I have a great offensive coordinator in Wayne Allegretto, great defensive coordinator in David Rock. I got just a great staff. And then you throw in these kids that will do anything that we ask. It's unbelievable. I mean, they work so hard. They put in. They realize it's a 12-month job. To prepare for this season, they had to work all 12 months just for this time. And they work hard during practice, outside of practice. In the classroom, they work hard. They're just all-around great kids. And I'm really excited about this season. I'm really excited what we've accomplished so far. And